Let me take us from the top here real quick. I see a lot of activity in the chat. Hey, everyone, this is Sketch talking. We have a little different setup here than we did last time. We're actually all in the same room together, which is super exciting. And we have a centralized mic, which is why you're not seeing all of our individual accounts light up here. So it's not Sam just doing impressions of all of us. We're all here together. So please do let us know in the chat if for some reason there's any kind of technical issues. We're still a little grassroots here, so hopefully things will go great, but a little bit different setup today. We're excited to try this out. It's great to have Snickerdoodle Unisheck and the real Sean Barron sitting here in person. But yes, this is Sketch. Why don't everybody introduce themselves so we can get people can kind of identify your voice to who you are, and then we will we'll get rolling here.
I'm Sam, Snickerdoodle. Yeah, I don't know. I'm here.
I'm here. Hi, I'm Sean. Do we want to talk? What do we want to say? What we do?
Yeah, just introduce yourself.
Yeah. So hi, everybody. You may recognize me. No.
Recognize your voice.
Recognize my voice. Yeah. Oh, I know. Realize that there's.
Oh, everybody in chat was very happy to see you, by the way, or to hear you.
Oh, good. Hi. So I am in charge of live performance and insights for the studio. And in this conversation, I'm going to be talking about how we're running the live product of Halo.fr.
Okay. And Unisheck needs no introduction.
What up? I'm here.
Common Sean Barron W.
Yeah.
See, they like you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
For now.
For now.
Cool.
It's okay.
All right, so someone just asked, will we also get a video? This is an audio-only experience, so no video today. You just got the voices. I do want to just let folks know we will put this audio recording in the Discord server, so it'll be available. And then I think probably a few hours later, after we have time to process it all and make it look, get it all nice and buttoned up, we'll upload it to YouTube and put it on Waypoint as well. So this is being documented. No pressure, Sean.
It does seem like there is a demand for a podcast where it's like, you record and then you also do the video. Like, I think.
Yeah, we'll get there. Truth be told, we haven't had a live stream from the studio in quite a bit. It's something that's actively being worked on, and we're kind of getting ourselves back into position. So this has been a pretty cool, I don't know, I don't want to call it just a stopgap because I think this is interesting in its own right and has some benefits too. But the goal is to kind of get back to full operational strength and have a full multimedia suite of ways to interact with our community. We're just not quite there yet. Yeah, Sean, you just confirmed video podcast coming in season 5, it says. So.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to.
No. Sean,
already in the hole.
Sean,
that was the one rule you gave me.
I said,
no promises.
Don't confirm anything, Sean. Also, let me just kind of go over a couple ground rules so folks have some context. We will periodically keep an eye on chat. We will try to answer some questions that are topical as we see them. Chat moves pretty quickly, so I just want to apologize in advance. We're definitely not going to be able to answer everybody's question, and a lot of questions are just going to be out of scope for today. Sean's here to talk about, I think, some things that people are certainly interested in. We're going to talk about Spartan customization, which I think is something that a few folks have been asking about.
Yep.
I'm going to give Sean a chance to also just kind of look higher level. Some of you may recall we had Sean on a stream ages ago.
Season 3 preview stream.
Yep, and you talked about player experience goals and priorities, and now you and the team have been really busy, so we'd like to get an update from you on kind of what you and the team are really focusing on and how we should think about things going forward. And then, of course, we want to get a little bit of information out of you about season 4, but I want to be really upfront about this too, so people don't get too hyped. This is not a full season 4 reveal breakdown broadcast. We're just gonna drop a little bit of nuggets, but we've got about a month to go.
I think I tweeted the link to the trailer.
Oh, you've already released the asset, the marketing trailer, which
just kidding,
isn't even done yet. But you have the final copy in your possession, apparently. Yeah. So. But anyways, suffice it to say, we have a lot more season 4 showing and telling to come in the weeks ahead. So I just want to make sure no one is getting too overhyped in that regard today. So any other housekeeping notes from your perspective, Unisheck? No? Okay. Sam, you good?
Thumbs
up? Okay. So Sean, we're going to put you right on the hot seat then.
Yeah, that's good.
And let's just dive right in before we get to...
Oh, sorry. Chat has confirmed that Sean is the lead the whole time.
The files are in the computer.
That would explain a lot. Dang, that would really explain.
Oh God.
So, Sean, I'm going to just throw you a very big open-ended question.
Mm-hmm.
What have you been up to since we last spoke? Give us a sense of kind of priorities. What are you and the team really focusing on? And you don't have to go through all those player experience goals. I know you've probably got them on your top of your mind, but just like, how are you and the team thinking about the live service today? Where are we going? How have things been going the last few months?
Yeah.
Just let's start with that.
Sure. I actually thought you were going to start because I thought this was open-ended. I thought you were going to ask me how I've been doing, like what I've been getting into.
How have you been doing?
Pretty good, picked up jujitsu. That's pretty fun. Actually picked up jujitsu, with my...
This isn't a bit.
This is not... Sean, no, I actually picked up jujitsu in the last couple of months.
Same class as your son?
We have a class every Saturday morning that we go to together, and he's just turned 10, and it's a lot of fun.
You and Zuckerberg, right? Didn't he just win the competition?
Really good, actually.
Okay.
I am not good because my 10-year-old can beat me up. So, anyways, so personally, that's one thing that I've been doing.
That's that. I don't know. I may be aging myself, but that Seinfeld episode when Kramer's taking martial arts with all the little kids and he's just dominating them, and then after class one day they all take him in the alley and they all just sort of.
I don't like that. No, there's actually a small children's class immediately after the class I'm in, and they watch my son and I, and they're like, "What?" Like, there's this little girl. She's probably 4, and she looks at us and is like, "Why are they doing it wrong?" Like every week, and I think her name's Sarah, and she just comes at me in particular, and I was like, "Hey, this is great, actually." So personally, I'm doing pretty well, I think. But you asked more questions, I think, about what the team's been working.
Yeah, just talk to us about, what have you guys been up to the last few months, and how are you thinking about priorities and kind of high level vision going forward?
Yeah, so I think we are still aligned against the player experience goals that I outlined last time, which were consistency, satisfaction, and quality. I think I would give us different grades across those categories. With consistency, I'm really, 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 really happy with where the team has gotten. This was the number one thing that we were going after because it was the number one sort of piece of sentiment and business feedback that we needed to address, was just being consistent with our updates, our releases, getting the content to the players. And I think with the winter update, season 3, and now with the upcoming season 4 release, like, I'm feeling very good and very confident about that. And all credit to the team for doing that because it hasn't been easy.
In consistency, you mean consistently releasing seasons, content, events.
Previously branded seasonality. We followed it from the very first slide I ever showed on that. I called it seasonality initially, but I think it's more about consistency because it's more of a developmental philosophy. Because we have delivered seasons that have taken weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to deliver the next one. It's more about making sure that we have a philosophy around everything we do being consistent. And the team's done a great job, right? Satisfaction, which was rewarding and personal and welcoming. Again, I'm actually really happy with the progress here, and I think we get updates from you guys, from the community, and from user research who gives us sentiment reports, and we've been seeing that generally satisfaction has been going up, especially since the winter update. So I'm happy with the progress there. I'm really happy with what we're seeing from Match XP. Custom game browser, we got it in early, and we're working on parts of that. Forge, the community playlists, like our battle passes are getting better, and I think our customization story is going to be coming together even more for next few seasons. So I think then when you look at season 4 and season 5, I think we're even going to be getting better there from a reward and satisfaction perspective. I think so. This is there.
This is something I say pretty frequently. Is like, we go after the right things that our players want, right? So we are increasing that satisfaction, but consistency and speed, right? We can always be doing better. Our players always want more faster. But we are at least going after the right things.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think our priority list is always right. It is how quickly we can knock those things out, and what are all the different complications, because we have finite resources, right? So we have finite resources from a personnel perspective. We can't go after everything at once, and because if we did, we would never really fix anything or make anything great. Of were you going to say something?
Sorry, finish your thought.
Oh, I was going to say, of the three areas, I didn't talk about quality yet. And I think that's the one where I wouldn't give us a passing grade yet. So this is the most frustrating area for me. We just haven't made the progress that I know the team wants, and I know that the community has really given us feedback on. And that's where, like, for me, when I look at our biggest buckets of negative sentiment, like this is like network performance and product stability. Like this is really where we need to make the biggest changes. And that's not to say we haven't been doing stuff consistently to try to fix it. Like we've been trying to fix, issues like rubber banding, getting shot around corners, all that sort of stuff, slowly through these releases. We've released hundreds of fixes for these things, for bugs, but it's just not hitting those things the right way, in my opinion. And I'm unhappy with that. Sorry, I just got feedback that I'm being a little too quiet. And so I think we're now looking and investigating more drastic ways of trying to address some of that stuff, but that's not baked right now. But that, if I'm giving myself a grade here or the team a grade here, it's not on the highest level here. We got to do more.
Yeah. Network and performance, you mean things like desync.
Yeah.
Go after that.
Yes. Yeah.
Stability. We know people are crashing both on their Xboxes and PCs, as well as at the server level. So we need to make sure we're doing even better there too.
Yeah, and then there's also like random quality things that pop up. Like the number one hottest thing right now. Are we good to talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay. The number one hottest thing. I'm getting my for folks on my stream. I'm just getting approval to talk about certain things.
But you're the boss guy, though.
No. We're all the bosses. The number one hottest piece of feedback right now is the settings issue, where the settings reset. Like that is so frustrating. Like
Can confirm
that it is immensely frustrating, and we are actively trying to like go through and figure out what these things are, and like we have these things called speculative fixes going after those. But that's another example of something that would fit in here that I just it kills us. Like I hate seeing it. I know the team hates seeing it.
Well, that one in particular is funny because it's like it affects everybody so differently that it's like impossible to be like, here's exactly what I did to trip it. So like, here, can you go fix it? Like me, and then get all the telemetry from your dev kit. You can't do that because it just happens randomly for seemingly no rhyme or reason. So it's very hard to figure out.
And we've actually added some new telemetry, which for folks who might not know what that is, it's just a way of really investigating through the build and through data that we get back from players' boxes, what might be happening when that happens. It's a lot of fun, and we can do better there.
Well, let me try to recap a few things, and I guess I saw some people in chat like. Safe to say that satisfaction and quality also intersect. Not only are we acknowledging that we know we want to do better in the quality and we have a lot of opportunity there, but we also know that, the satisfaction as it pertains to quality is also, we've made a lot of great headway on other player feature requests and improvements, but like these things it's a mess right now, right? Just untangle this. And I just want to acknowledge too, I'm really excited and happy about the stability initiatives. I also think, we can safely acknowledge that Season 3 in some ways did introduce some new challenges that has kind of taken the team down a different avenue to go after. Stability is a huge priority for the studio. It's something that we have people actively working on constantly. And the networking thing, I just want to, none of us are really the network engineers in this room, and I don't want to get out of my depth here, but I do want to make sure folks are aware, like, we absolutely have the data and the feedback. We understand where the pain points are. We're fully aligned on kind of what we need to go after. Unfortunately, some of these things are just really, really complicated and deeply rooted. And I'm going to go a step further and maybe overspeak here, but I think we've been going after some spot fixes and kind of looking at case-by-case issues and trying to tackle them one by one. I want folks to know in parallel, though, there's also initiatives underway to even look more holistically at more dramatic, dramatic sweeping changes that could be very, very positive, but are going to take more time. So we could kind of keep piecemealing and kind of chipping away at things, which, let's just be honest, has not really been working that well for us because we're not able to keep up and move fast enough. I am excited about this potential to do more drastic measures, but I do want to note that the trade-off there is it is just going to take more time.
Yeah.
So, my takeaway is I like to make sure our players have the right expectations. Season 4 is going to be awesome. It's not going to magically address a lot of these key issues. These are things that are just constantly in motion, and we're just trying to keep making progress again. So, not trying to be a downer. I'm very excited for season 4, but I just want folks to know it's not going to magically, quote, fix networking. That's just a big ball of yarn to unravel, and a lot of people are involved with that right now.
I mean, I heard someone gave me an analogy the other day where they're like, "Hey, imagine it like a tree. We've been pruning a bunch of the branches that are closer to the outside. Like, let's talk about what we can do with more drastic, not cuts from a feature perspective, but cuts from where we start pruning
Your tree.
Yeah, your tree.
The cuts on the tree.
on the tree. Not the game.
Okay.
I also want to give a shout out to, even though many players know these issues have kind of been around, or they might seem like no-brainers, it is still super important for us to get support tickets submitted.
Yes.
Because that gives the team direct access to player account information and session details and things that we just can't get from social media. So I guess my other ask to players is like, don't assume that it's already been reported, or don't assume that your ticket doesn't need to be filed. Like, I think we need as much information as we could possibly get, and every bit helps. So remember to go to aka.ms/Halo support and keep those tickets coming, even if it feels like you're just sort of shouting into the void. I promise you that data is 100% being utilized by the team on a regular basis.
You are not shouting into the void. We have a process for making sure that we stack rank the sentiment issues, the technical issues. And a major part of that is not only the community sentiment that these fine folks right here are pulling for us, or the user research sentiment that we get from our surveys, but absolutely from the actual tickets that are filed against bugs or issues through support. So absolutely, that is very, very useful signal for us.
Awesome. Okay, and then somebody was asking, could we mention the settings reset? I think we did.
Yep.
That's
our number one hottest issue.
The TLDR, it's an issue. We're aware of it. We're working on it. We are also super annoyed and frustrated by it. As Sean mentioned, there are some what they call speculative fixes, which we think the team is going after potential multiple things that could be at the root cause of this.
Yep.
But I think, as everyone probably knows, the game development's a little bit like a house of cards. You change one thing, there's a lot of other things that could happen there. So I think we have to be very measured before we roll out anything. But I just want to say the studio agrees. We're also annoyed by this, and as soon as we have a verified fix, we're going to get it out to players.
Yeah. I mean, what is the number one thing PR talks about when we're in reviews of product? It's quality. It's like, we need to go after fixing these things. It is a priority.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, and I guess too, Sean, I think we might get to this, but I think I also just want to acknowledge, I think I understand some of the frustration where it's been months and players maybe aren't hearing enough dialogue about these. If you want to talk about that for a minute, because we have been a little bit more measured, I think, in kind of what we're able to say and when we're able to say
it. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, so we are going to talk. Can I hint at what we're going to talk about a little bit later?
Yeah, I mean, we can start.
So I mean, I know one of the things we are going to talk about customization today, and it has been on our top 10 hit list to address the feedback and concerns players have around like cross-core and that desire.
No, you just said the words.
Oh, am I not supposed to say?
No, it's fine. Chat.
I'm saying cross-core.
Drink. Every time someone says cross-core, you're supposed to take a drink.
We would have been dead. Chat is
it's
just
a
like
little early for that.
Chat says he said the words.
Yeah, but it is Friday, I guess. I still have a long day. Yeah, so we haven't spoken about it, right, since that one time, and a lot of stuff has happened. And this isn't about making excuses, but from a communication perspective and from a cross-core perspective, specifically because they're really intertwined in cross-core, the feature or problem set or challenge that exists as the fact that it hasn't been spoken about so much is a really good example of what's been happening in the studio. So, we don't need to talk too much, but we've had a lot of stuff go on in the studio over the last year, a lot of stuff. And in general, we've been quieter because our studio leadership, well, there's two reasons I would say. Our studio leadership has really pushed us to lean very much into the idea that product leaders like myself, my job is not to say what feature is going to get me. My job is not to say, go do this exactly like that. My job is to take what I know our business and engagement goals are, what I know our player sentiment priority list is, like what our players want and need, and to clearly define and prioritize for the development team, the implementers, and challenge them with challenges to go and solve those challenges. Go figure those things out. Because the implementers, the people who are building these features, those are the ones who are going to really know exactly how to get those things done, and more importantly, when we can get those things done. And we obviously did this before, but I think there's been a real focus on this process and the discipline around it. And what I found is as we've been doing that, we were also challenged with the not talking about stuff as frequently. And so Pierre directly challenged us because he was saying, look, like if we're going to talk about stuff, there has to be rigor and discipline around the predictability of when we will deliver those things. And that has been the way that I've been operating since we started talking about winter update and things like that. And so folks hear me say, hey, I'm not ready to talk about that, or we're not promising that. That's really why that's happening. And what's cool is that over this period of time where we've really, really, really pushed this responsibility of answering how we're going to solve these challenges to the dev teams and the implementers, we actually, and it's kind of a duh, we get much clearer feedback on when things are going to be able to be done, and how the best way to do those things is. And so with CrossCore, it was a perfect storm. With CrossCore, when it was talked about on that stream, I believe it was a community live stream. Yep. It wasn't exactly one of those things where the team was fully aware that it was going to be spoken about that way, or that the team had the solutions that they thought were the right ones, or would be feasible given all of the other stuff that we have to do. And that created a situation where we couldn't really talk about anything because there wasn't much to talk about and the team was trying to figure it out. Things were changing. Yeah, go ahead. You had it.
Yeah. So you're saying essentially slower on the communication because we want to make sure we verify and vet all of the work, the planning ahead of time.
Yeah, let's do it the right way.
Have more confidence in speaking to those things moving forward.
Yeah, because the team needs to feel empowered and feel agency to deliver things the right way instead of feeling trapped by things I might say. But that's not what I want to do. That's not my job. If I do that, I fail, right? If I write a check for the team that they don't want to sign for, that's not fun.
You mean like how you signed us up for video podcasts?
Exactly right. But I'll help you with that. No, I'm just kidding. I won't help you with that. I'm gonna have a camera. I have a webcam you guys can borrow. No, yeah. So there's that, and then the other part I was just gonna say, like, from a historical perspective, we didn't talk about it again then because leadership changed. I came in and started driving more of the priorities and what we were going after. And when we looked at what was possible, I looked at the number one business and sentiment issue, which was delivering seasonal content and experiences with better predictability and consistency. And that's what the team was then focused on. And they were our dev teams from an implementer perspective on up. That was their focus. And we weren't ready to talk about CrossCore because they were trying to address other issues at the same time. So that's where the communication comes from. And I think now, because of the discipline that we've installed across the team and the adherence to process and those principles, communication can be much clearer and should be. But that doesn't excuse the quietness. Like, people should feel frustrated. They can feel frustrated. Yeah. I'm not a person who tells people.
We're frustrated too.
Yeah.
Everyone is frustrated. Well, I mean, people have been asking, like, well, what is the leadership's priority? And we talk about player sentiment and kind of the health of the community in the game all the time, right? And we have data that gives us a lot of insights there. We know all these things we touched on, from customization to stability to networking. All these things keep kind of dragging us down, right? Yeah. And they're top of mind for our players. And these are things that are top of mind in the team all the time. also, so is we have a new season coming up in a month, and it's just like, I guess I'll just say this sounds very obvious. It's just very hard, and there's just a lot. There's just so many balls in the air. But I think we all feel bad that we can't give more frequent updates.
Yeah.
But we also know people are tired of hearing the, "Hey, we hear you. We're working on it."
Yeah.
So it puts us in a little bit of a rock and a hard spot, so to speak. People are really wanting to get more into cross-core.
Are they in the chat? Just what?
Like, I want to be clear. Like,
Should we talk more about development?
I want to get. Let me get to that.
I'm just kidding.
By the way, that wasn't meant to be like Sean's response to cross-core. We were kind of I was asking a bit broader question about why haven't we been saying more about everything all up over the last few months, of which cross-core was one. But most people were like, wait, that's not an answer about cross-core, but that wasn't the goal yet. We're going to get there in a minute.
Yeah, no, also I'm easily distracted.
We're going to get there. But Sean, before we get into kind of what can people expect with customization, I do like some of the information you had shared with us earlier, and I think it would be good context to look at bigger picture. Where are we going with player customization? Like, what is the team's vision, and like, what is the feedback that you and the team have latched on to that you're working against, and not even like immediately, but just broader. Like
the most, I'll take it at the highest level because I'm again not going to write checks. But from a philosophical perspective, the challenge that I present the team with is like, hey, our customization story, our customization like philosophy needs to address depth, breadth, and value. So I can go into that a little bit. Like, we really want people to be able to invest in their Spartan story, their Spartan, like imagine who they want to be as a Spartan, but that's very different for different people, right? So let's talk about depth for a second. Depth is, you have your Spartan Mark V reach sort of like kit that you want to build out, that you're really interested in developing, that is like very military heavy, and like we want to support that. So we need to be able to support players going deeper into the sorts of Spartan player fantasies that we create. So that's one avenue, and that means creating more customization content for things that we've released and to keep on adding into those spaces, right? Breadth is really about driving and facilitating and exploring other fantasies, Spartan fantasies that we may not have explored yet. And so that's really what the cores were meant to do initially. But I think that we misstepped in some of that, where it's like some cores are very similar, and like ultimately what we want to do going forward is deliver experiences even within a core that are allow you to explore books, right? Because you have that person, right, who maybe wants to have, like, my Spartan is very much a reach Spartan with a simple purple coating.
I'll say purple for
sure. For me. I love purple, right? That was my number one goal. I love purple. But to get that in there, but then like I also know, and I joke about this, but this is true. Like there are people, and I'm not trying to rile people up specifically, but like people like cat ears. Guess what? Lots of people like cat ears. Lots of people like different things. And, we want to support that too, because those are just as valid explorations from a design perspective and from a player fantasy perspective as anything. And I can't read the chat right now, but if we are going to answer the crossword thing. So
no, it's
okay. Yeah. I just see
my cat ears.
Yeah, purple cat ears are the best.
You just described Spartan.
Yes. And then the last
actually is your Spartan.
The last sort of philosophical tenet is like really about value. Okay, so like I know people don't like talking necessarily about the business components of a game, but the money that we make from customization sales and battle pass sales, which are driven by customization, is the way that we fund our development for Infinite. Like that is how we make money, and we use that money to build modes and all of the stuff that players want. And so if we are not providing value for players by creating that depth or that breadth or creating higher quality items, then we're not going to make any money, and it's not going to be a virtuous cycle, right? Yeah. And so that's where that value comes in. We need to create value. And that's to me where the cross-core conversation comes in. Because, I've seen these sentiment. Like I've seen people say, like, I'd be more comfortable buying this thing if I knew it was like something that I could use later on. What if you stop supporting this core? He's pointing at himself. Maybe he corners me every day and says that. Like I don't.
Sentiment would be at an all-time high if everything was free.
But we can't.
So,
I have the best job because I have to balance what we need to do from a business perspective, and then what we need to do from a player perspective, like what they really want. And like the messed up part is that I'm such a I love the franchise, right? And so I'm like, yeah, I want to go give you guys all that, but then I'm like, wait a second, I also want to keep giving you stuff later on, and like so I need to sell some stuff too. It's just this. We're never going to nail it. We're always going to be trying to do the best thing.
Sure.
No, it's a very fine line to walk. And, we get to sometimes have the luxury of not having to worry about the business realities, and we can just yell at you that players don't like this stuff. Please change it.
Yeah.
I want to call out too, because some people in chat are pointing this out, and I know this is a pretty common theme in game communities, but like to be very clear, no one has made a decision to say we're going to ship more cat ears and not fix servers. Like,
oh yeah, no.
The reality is these are completely different teams. We have outsourced partners that are making content. Some of these things have been in development for months already. So it's like there's no trade-off internally with like, well, we're not going to fix networking this month because we want to put some new shop bundles out. Like,
absolutely.
These are parallel paths. I mean, at the end, they do converge when it comes time to release and update, obviously. But I think we've all maybe had frustrations with other properties that we enjoy where it's easy to say the devs are prioritizing the wrong thing. And I want to just make sure that people know the team is focused on a lot of things. It's not as simple as just a black and white trade.
Yeah. So
I was going to crack a cookbook joke.
I almost got a restaurant analogy. I was going to say that. Yeah. Well, the budget that we use to buy the flour and stuff, which I think of as customization, right? Like I really want a croissant right now. So like the butter and the flour and like the making that dough and folding, whatever. That's different than the cost of paying for the rent and the website and all those things that like we use to sell those croissants online, whatever. Like maybe that's actually a really bad analogy and I'm failing here with my food analogy. But my point is the resources we use to make customization content, design that customization content, implement that customization content, all of that stuff is different than the resources we have to implement features or fixes for the game. Those are different people and they are not in conflict and their priorities are not in conflict. And we are not saying but that is the way it is. We're talking very specifically about customization.
I mean, I think we could go on about this for hours because another kitchen analogy that I could pull in from cooking.
We're just hungry.
It's like an episode of Chopped, right? Where you're like, hey, we have feedback that our fans want pizza, but then Sean, you have like a hibachi grill, a skewer, some eggs, and like some heavy cream. That's all you have to work with. And I'm kind of alluding to the fact that like in some instances, some of the things that we know players ultimately would like, we might also like, but it's not realistic within the realities of the game and the system that we have today.
That was very well
right.
Yeah, I think you're setting me up to talk about crosscore.
I mean, I am because
it's perfect. It's a great analogy.
Like, it's even back. Hey, we want to go back to the way it was in the old Halo games. We want to earn all of our stuff, and everything's just based on engagement and free. And while I really appreciate the work the team's done to increase the value and quality of the things that you can earn, Infinite just wasn't built that way. And I'm going to just say it right here. There's no chance it's ever just going to be burned to the ground and rebuilt up to be something totally different, right?
Everything is connected, right? Like our UI, our development pipeline, the code, every single thing creates these barriers to implementing full crosscore. Like it is always everything's a challenge.
So let's just talk to us then.
Even our test pipeline.
It is
the way that we test things. Like the development was meant to support cores, right?
Yeah.
And so the way that it was built was not prepared to handle all the combinatorial shenanigans that could happen with crosscore from a validation perspective, right? We have to figure out how to do that. We are still figuring that out.
Well, let's
Yeah.
just why don't you just kind of cut into the meat then? Because I
Yeah,
think
people-
people are just really want to know, like, what are we saying? What does this actually mean? We've had a lot of nuance, so let me scroll through here and move down on some of our stuff that we're looking at. But
Yeah.
you've covered a lot of this. So
I can cover the season 4 stuff. So
let's just why don't you let's just cut to the chase.
Yeah.
What can you commit to? Where are we going?
we are committing to, boy, and I'm going to make sure I'm be really careful here with the words I use. So starting in season 4, so when we release season 4, all new shop and battle pass armor and weapon coatings will be cross core and cross weapon. Okay. Shop bundles that include armor and weapon coatings will have coatings available for all of the cores and weapons as individual coatings. So people are going to see this and they might think, you are selling us individual coatings. We are not. We decided that before we got the UI, and this is where everything's tied together, even on the back end from a services perspective, where we grant people stuff and it's in your Spartan inventory. We're going to have to, for season 4, give people individual coatings for each of the things. That is still going to be cross-core. And when we eventually get to the point where we have UI representing cross-core, those will be one coating that you can then equip, right?
So season 4, it's a bunch of different tiles.
Yes.
But you get them all.
You get them all, and you will get them all prospectively for it. Yeah.
In the future, moving forward, future cores also to get that coating.
Yes.
So let me just be very clear here. We're talking about new premium coatings coming online in season 4. Out of the gate, there'll be basically you'll get a version that works on every core.
Yes.
Okay.
In the store and in the battle pass, premium battle pass, the way that the team had to implement it for season 4, because we didn't have the feet. So I don't want to get too technical here.
Yeah.
There were reasons why, and it's not a don't trust, just trust me. But there were reasons why we're going to be putting the coatings at different levels, and you'll get them for every core there. And then that coating that you get from the premium battle pass will be cross core moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in future battle passes, which we aren't talking about right now, I don't think we can hint that there's going to be. We're not. I'm getting shaking of the head. But in future battle passes, that'll be represented.
It's going to get better.
It'll be represented.
It's going to get better.
Yes. We hear the feedback that in our battle passes, people don't love things being split across levels.
Yep.
Very clearly. We will be working to address that in the future.
But not in season 4.
Not in season 4.
Still that same coating represented multiple tiles.
Yeah.
But beyond.
This is just it's a step in the right direction.
Yes.
But it's not the end all be all solution that we or players are looking for right now. I'd say it's probably safe to say.
Right.
And I think, also correct me if I'm wrong, but they're similar because we have to represent each one of these as like 7 unique pieces.
Yeah.
That also means that like an ultimate reward for now can't be a cross-core coating because we have no way to serve that up today.
Yeah, it would be a very broken user experience right now.
But safe to say, you would like to get to that point.
Yes.
Okay.
When we get the ability to support in the UI.
Cool.
Yeah.
And the last point of clarification I want to call out.
And that's not because the UI team's not crushing it. They're absolutely crushing it. But it's like, hey, what can we do right now? Because we were thinking about holding some of this stuff until it was like perfect.
Yeah.
That's not the right thing to do.
Yep.
And so we were like, okay, we're going to have a little bit of jank, acceptable jank, and we're going to give it this way and try to explain it, but also give people value.
Yep.
Right now, rather than later.
I also wanted to clarify too, we recently added the ability to purchase some cosmetics through the Armor Hall.
Yeah.
So any sort of content pre-season 4 that you might buy via that avenue or might even come in the shop
or in the battle passes
would not fit into this model for now.
For now.
Okay.
Yeah. I want the team to tell me specifically how we can solve that, but I can say it's a flag for us to figure out. When I say flag, I don't like a flag to say that. It's a no. We need to figure this out like that.
So there's a couple questions I think that are obvious follow-ups that are top of mind for everybody. And I'm just going to throw these out to you. One, people are asking, well, what about all the past coatings that we've already released?
Yeah.
And how should we think about that in a world where we honestly, as we've been discussing transparently, we don't have a fully vetted realistic plan right now that solves all these problems.
Yes, we have about, and you know firsthand, like
I do.
from reviewing all these things, because folks on the call, there are two people that I go and talk to very frequently. One of them is our business manager, and the other one is Gerard. And we talk about solutions, right? And I've got to find that balance. And we have multiple solutions that we're investigating currently for how we want to deliver previous season coding content. I'm trying to figure out the exact right way of saying it in a way that is what players would want or expect. We are trying to do that. I don't want to say that we have the solution, but there are multiple things we are currently investigating as a way to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just speak on behalf of the team too. I think with every subsequent season, the team will continue to lean into and look for ways to check off the 3 boxes that you just spoke to us about:
Yes.
breadth, value, and what was the other one? Quality? I already forgot.
Breadth, depth, and
value. And value is kind of what we're getting at. Where
The lists mixed up.
yeah.
Right now.
But anyways, I guess I would want players to just take away that like this is a step in the right direction, and we really hope to see this story continue getting better with each new season.
Yes.
Not just specifically for like how do you solve all my cross-score problems, but we can't go too deep on this, but there's just really cool stuff coming too. Like one of your visions from a long time ago was like, we can't just rip the whole system apart and overhaul before we've even got it up to where it even needs to be in the first place. And there is some really cool stuff.
I don't want to hint at that.
Right. But I'll just say like that is another thing that I think players will be looking forward to. That'll be very cool.
I do want to talk about one thing very specifically that is a very real. It is a very real concern that we have as a dev team around how we can get these things out. So there are tons of combinations. This is the combinatorial problem I was talking about. There are tons of combinations of the way different things in our game can be, if everything were cross-core, can show up. And let's just talk about codings, right? We have to test every variety of those things, like, and approve them as looking okay through our quality team. Like, we need to make sure that it doesn't break the game for every single coding. And we also have to put new codings that are going to be cross-core into the game and get those tested too across all of those cores, right? And so it is that balance between what can we do proactively right now, what can we do retroactively, but no, that's just where we are right now.
But you're right. I mean, it's a lot. Even I was surprised because it didn't dawn on me. It's just a lot more surface area now to cover for everything. It's exponentially, right?
Yeah.
And it's the right thing to do, but we have to now be able to account for that.
Yeah, you've seen all the different scenarios we need to cover. It is.
I also, Sean, I think it's the same answer, but I just want to acknowledge also in chat, people are asking like, hey, that's great about codings. A lot of people I'm seeing are at least appreciative that we're able to kind of share an update period and that we're at least going to have a little bit of progress in this space. Of course, armor comes up next.
Yes.
You know, what about my helmets? What about my shoulders? I think that falls in the same category as we have nothing we can commit to today, but is absolutely something the team knows that the community wants. And it's something that we're going to continue to look at ways to solve for going forward.
Here's how can I talk a little bit about what Pierre challenged us with the other day?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll do it anyway. At my own risk.
He's your boss. And
your career.
Yeah. So Pierre, the other day, we were sitting talking about like all the different things that we could do to address some of the major sentiment issues, like all the different like ways that we're thinking about going after.
Sean is the weaker for sure.
And Pierre was like, look, like, I think it's because we've gotten to a place with what I was talking about earlier, where we are much more leaning into empowering the teams, the implementers to address these things and come up with the exact plan with how they're going to deliver stuff, which then gives you so much more confidence about how you're going to talk about stuff. But he brought up, like, he challenged you in particular. He was like, look, I would love it if you found a way, and now I'm putting this all on you, Brian, if you found a way to talk to the community about the stuff that we are doing next, what we're going after, without overpromising, right? Because we want to kind of underpromise, overdeliver, But how are we going to do that? And so what I'm talking around things right now, but what I would say is I think there are 3 categories of things we can talk about. One category, and we talked about coatings today, is in that category. That is like upcoming. Things that are coming that we have direct line of sight into implementation. We know exactly what they are going to cost us from a other feature perspective, because we have to keep in mind that when we do something, we're choosing not to do other stuff. And so we have committed to these things. We know when they're coming. They will probably be, when we talk about these things, they are going to be in this season or the next season, right? And that is a one category of stuff, and that is what coatings are. The other category, another category of things, which we might call iterating, is we are committed to going after these things. We are iterating on and investigating going after these things. We do not have the exact solution, or in some cases we might have a good solution, but we need to cost it out from a development perspective. And it could still get derailed if we find some major issue, because we haven't evaluated all of the dependencies. And I know folks maybe don't like hearing this, but there are tons of dependencies on stuff.
And cost it out, just investigation.
Yeah, cost isn't
to the weeds.
Yeah, it's like going through and saying, okay, guys, you're going to
How
implement
much time is this going to take from this person?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And we've not done that. And that is where I would say the cross-port armor like pieces are sitting right now. It is, and then there's a third area where it's like exploring, and those are things that we want to go do. We have no idea if we're going to be able to do.
Yeah,
that is not where those things are, and I hope that we have more to talk about in the future. And I want to talk about it as soon as we move it out of what we might call iterating or investigating stage to it's coming up.
Yeah.
Then I want to talk about it. Let's talk about it.
For sure.
And that's where I hope that's an answer to the question for you guys. Maybe not super satisfying, but that is an answer. It is squarely in that bucket.
Yep. Okay. While you were talking, I just want to also, for the room, I did in chat, went ahead and confirmed. I know we get this request a lot. Currently, as far as I know, unless you have new insights as the guy in charge of all this stuff, playable elites are not in active development currently. We know it's on a wish list, not a priority right now. Same thing for assassinations. We know there's a vocal group that would like to see those come back.
Yeah.
Right now, not in active development.
Yeah, those are
not a priority.
Yeah, those have come probably. If we're talking about those 3-tier things,
we just talked about a laundry list of things that we're already inundated with.
Yeah.
These are really cool, nice to have things that I think we can't get into that in a serious nature yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if we talk about the tiers of things, first tier being the upcoming, that's like 90% sure. We're like 90% sure. The iterating or investigating, that's like probably 60% sure that the solution is going to be coming. And then the exploring, that is like totally speculative, but the team has explored different things, and they have explored. I will say explored with that caveat, the things that we're talking about there. Yeah.
Okay, Sean, let's pivot. I'm looking at the clock here. I do want you to share a little bit of details about season 4, and then maybe we can still look at chat. It's moving super fast, and if we have time, we'll throw a couple questions your way. But I want to reiterate what I said up front. This is not a full season 4 deep dive.
Before we talk about season 4,
you have another cosmetic?
No, I was actually going to talk about plasma.
No, that's okay. I was going to bring that up as part of season 4. That's the first thing I was going to ask.
Oh,
so there you go.
Oh,
unit check. You promised. Plaza was coming.
Wrote a check.
I personally promised when it was already promised somewhere else.
Yeah, it was already promised somewhere else.
Right, but we did previously said the 343's official remake of the Halo 5 map Plaza was originally targeted for season 3.
Yeah.
And then
it needed some more bake.
Yeah, it needed a little more time in the oven. It wasn't quite at the bar we wanted it. It wasn't ready for public release. So we were about a month out. It's not coming in the month we have left. So it is shifting into season 4.
Yep.
From what I've been seeing, we can't confirm a date today, but it's being targeted for like the first part of early.
Yeah.
Maybe not on day and date for launch, but like it's not going to be like at the end of the season.
No.
Like we want to get it out as soon as possible.
Yes.
I broke Plaza.
John broke Plaza.
Did you?
There you go.
Let's go with that.
I'm
going to leak.
So I know that's one question.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one question that the community had, and
it's really fun.
But I guess
it's really fun.
I want to.
Great map.
It's a really
Yeah.
good map.
I'll be transparent too. I know this came up when we had Michael Shore on here a few weeks ago, and we weren't able to speak to it at that time. It was a little bit in flux, and we also had to kind of go through an order of operations of who we say things to when, and we just can't have like, for example, we can't have partners finding out just randomly because somebody else tweets it, right? So that may sound very lame for folks, but we did just have to kind of go through the motions and roll this information out in the right way. But Unished can attest, we've been wanting to circle back and give the players an update as soon as possible.
Yep.
So Plaza, it's not that far off, but it will be landing in the early part of season 4.
Yep.
Now, there are 2 other things on season 4 that I think you're permitted to
I'm permitted.
briefly agree to today. I mean, there are a lot of people that are nervous about.
Yeah. Season 4 is going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome.
It's going to be really fun.
So,
my favorite season?
What are you most excited about for season 4? If you had to pick one thing, and it better be one of the 2 things you're allowed to talk about.
So
Sean's going to give us something completely
of the 2 things that I'm trying to get a picture of my dog in the game. No, I'm not. Maybe season 5. I would say the number one thing that I'm excited about, because it's like very near and dear to my heart, and I personally had a really hard time leaning into being a product leader and saying this is the challenge, and then like not dictating the outcome there, because I just have very strong opinions on it, is career rank. Like I'm really excited about career rank. Because I think if you look at our experience, one, Halo's been missing, like Halo Infinite's been missing career rank, but Halo Infinite has been missing these longitudinal, what I call longitudinal progression mechanics, where you can just grind against it forever, right? And it's fun to grind against it. Career rank, I want to make sure that I don't say too much. What I can say is that it looks great. It's coming in season 4, and
At launch, by the way.
At
This is
launch.
June 20th. Career rank kicks off. And we are using military ranks. I almost trolled everybody. I was almost like, we have the best numbers. The most numbers. It goes forever. The numbers. No, it's military ranks. We're using military ranks. For sure, because that's Halo, right? We are a military sci-fi shooter. Let's use military ranks.
as evidenced by all the gray and green outside.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
So chat seems pretty excited for that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's something that everyone's been looking for. I mean,
Yes.
if we go back in time, would we have wanted that there at launch? Of course, we absolutely.
Oh my God, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
Would we have wanted to get it out sooner than season 4? Absolutely.
I was trying.
But is it finally coming in a month? Heck yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Military cat ear shooter is what I'm seeing in chat now.
Yeah. Oh God.
With pictures of Sean's dog on
Yeah.
the
Play Halo your way. Okay.
People want to know when the dog's being added to the game.
Yeah. My dog's name is Loki. He's a 2-year-old lab. He's very yellow, golden.
You guys are just like stalling and deflecting. How about I ask? I think this one's near and dear to Unishek's heart. I know you're excited about career rank. What else are you super excited about for season 4, John?
Am I supposed to be the one that says this?
Say it.
Okay.
I'm giving you
Yeah.
you a softball here.
Okay. The fan favorite, absolutely sick and terrifying mode of infection will be launching with season 4. Infection.
There it is.
Makes me very happy.
It's confirmed.
Yeah.
Maybe some would say one of the worst kept secrets.
I legitimately thought we had already confirmed.
I mean, everybody but us has
Yeah.
confirmed.
Or maybe it was just what I leaked.
But,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's not me.
Well, you're like live streaming all of your CMS check-ins, apparently, right? So it's getting data.
I like live stream my ADO, like when I'm in ADO, like looking at features and
It's getting data mined. But yes, Infection is also going live. It's a signature mode for season 4. It'll be available beginning on June 20th when season 4 launches. We are super excited for that. Expect a full deep dive on that later.
Yep.
And I think we might have just tweeted out a piece of really cool concept art just to kind of whet your appetite there. But we're looking forward to that. I do want to call out 2 other quick things here. I'm looking at our notes. As some folks may know, our next HCS event is right around the corner. Coming up 2 weeks from today?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not next week. 2 weeks from today, we have HCS DreamHack Dallas. And that team has let us know for everyone in attendance there, you'll have an opportunity to get some hands-on time with season 4 content early So that should be fun for anyone that's considering attending DreamHack. Not only for awesome HCS competitive gameplay, but checking out season 4 early. And of course, DreamHack, as you may know, is a much bigger expo. There's lots of games there. It's a great weekend of competitive gaming beyond just Halo. Second, I want to give people a heads up. This is the first time I believe we've ever been able to do this in Halo Infinite, but we have our first ever bonus XP weekend coming up.
Mm-hmm. Also that DreamHack weekend.
Same weekend, right? So that'll be June 2nd through the 4th. As I understand it, Sean, we don't want to call it double XP. Bonus XP.
No. Unless you want to get the other Sean in trouble.
It's bonus XP weekend, right?
It's a staple amount of XP for every match play.
Every game you play, you just get extra XP. So we're trying to help people kind of, if you want to finish off your pass and kind of get ready for season 4, that weekend might help kind of turbocharge your final stretch there.
Mm-hmm. Staple amount of XP weekend. New branding.
I like that. Trademark. Can we get some PR data in that?
That'd be if we put business in charge of marketing. A chance for you to earn against your battle.
Sean, one of the things, I know we don't have much time left. One of the things I've seen some questions on were like, hey, will we ever be able to have a way to like get content from prior events that we missed? And I know I know you can't get into the super weeds on that, but it is safe to say that the team does have changes coming, not in season 4, but beyond, for just how we're thinking about engagement, events, the content, like there's changes coming.
Yeah,
right?
like that was so from a sentiment perspective, when we look at our battle pass systems and our event systems, one of the number one pieces of feedback was frustration around events and like how they're handled and access to them and like all that. And so we have some stuff coming in season 5 that I can say, because it is within the purview of the development process, that I can with clear sight say that there are some changes there that are coming that should make it better. As far as older, and I think there's a level of specificity there that this person's also asking about with like the older events, things that happened that people can no longer access. I can put that squarely in the investigating category, trying to find the right solutions.
Okay.
And the team, that's a challenge that was given to the dev team, the implementers, and they're like, okay, well, what is the right way we can do that through all the various contingencies and issues we might encounter? And then whenever that's ready for review, I'll review it. But
okay.
Yep.
Let's see. We got a couple last minutes here. I'm looking at Chad or John or Sam. If y'all see anything you want to toss out to Sean in the room here.
There was a question earlier that I saw someone ask: is it true MCC servers are shutting down? As like a rumor. I've never heard that rumor before. Don't worry, MCC servers are fine.
We love MCC.
Where that rumor even came from.
MCC will remain.
Yeah, in fact, MCC's crushing it, and that the recent win of getting it officially kind of verified on Steam Deck is pretty awesome.
Yep.
Very cool. Yeah.
And I think that team. I don't want to steal. Actually, you know what? Well, I'm going to stop talking because I think we should get someone as we do next one of these ones we do in the future. We'll bring in Dursky and some folks from the MCC team. I've also seen questions about ranked. I also just wanted to comment. I'd like to bring Tashi on at some point. Tashi leads the esports at 343, but also is in charge of the ranked experience. He's the lead on that. So we don't want to speak out of turn and make comments about rank. So we'll table that for now. But Tashi's aware that there's some interest, and he'd be more than happy to come once we can get the schedules aligned.
Yeah, Tashi's totally in.
Let's see. Anything else y'all see? We got just a handful of minutes here. Keep in mind my laptop time is not official. Chat is going crazy. A lot of campaign questions, which I'm just going to come out right now and let everybody off the hook. Completely out of scope for today. Out of bounds. We're not able to speak to anything about campaign. No, nothing to say there.
Talking with Sean about season 4.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
It's moving too fast.
Are there any questions about my dog?
No one cares.
Or Sean.
Yeah.
About Sean.
It's moving so fast. I can't keep up. Oh my gosh.
The mods pulled some questions, but I don't know if we've addressed a lot of it actually.
Favorite baseball team, Mariners. Love them.
I was going to say, someone asked, when do you expect to be able to beat the 6-year-old in your class?
Probably never. If she's that judgy, she's probably very good. It's kind of amazing, actually. Right? Yeah.
I mean, you're only going to get older and more frail as they're just going to get bigger and stronger, right? So
yeah, I mean, I already have a fracture in my spine, so I'm not going to be able to beat this child. They're going to win. They're going to win.
From carrying your Super Fiesta teammates.
No, literally from carrying my daughter on my back. Actually.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's great fun.
All right. I don't. I've seen some questions about roadmap too. I guess I can just address that. Like, we're not. No time in the near future are we putting out like a 12-month roadmap. We are kind of just working on a shorter cycle, heads down, getting things real. But you and I had talked about a world where we could kind of do a little better job of communicating kind of what's in active development, what's under investigation.
Yeah, 3 categories.
Yeah, just so players have an idea of like, have we even heard their feedback on these areas? Is this ever going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And you know that I'm also a firm believer in like, I'd rather just tell people no than sort of leave them hanging. So, and then I just get called a dream crusher because all I do is just keep saying no to everything.
Yeah.
But I know I personally would just rather no and just get on with my life, right? So
You'd rather no?
I'd rather just no.
No.
No. But I think we're going to try and do a better job going forward, and but we also need to be mindful to the opening kind of dialogue. We just can't speak out of turn, and we don't just because we have aspirations or intentions doesn't mean that it might be viable.
Yeah.
Any final comments from you, Sean, before we let you off the hook? And I'm sorry for chat; it's moving so fast we can't even answer a fraction of these questions, but we will keep going. We'll keep doing this in the future. Maybe we'll do another unit check. Maybe we'll just get together another Ask 343 and just knock out a ton of questions in a more focused manner down the road too.
Yeah. What I would say is thank you to you guys. Like Halo players defy physics. That's like kind of what you guys do. And so I really just appreciate the feedback, the engagement, the passion, and any spare faith you're willing to put on us. Like really, really appreciate it. You have a lot of people here who just want to make you guys happy.
And I reiterate, there will be a lot more depth and information about career rank. That's going to be coming up in the weeks ahead. Same thing for infection. Same thing for other new content coming with season 4. So stay tuned on that. Wasn't our intention today to share all those details. And we stay tuned. It'll probably take a little time to get this buttoned up, but we'll get this full recording available to everyone in Discord, and then it'll be on Waypoint and Halo's YouTube channel later, as well as if you missed the last episode with Michael Shore, that should also be on Halo's YouTube channel very soon.
Yeah, later today.
And we talked to Michael Shore about Forge and playlists. We always love having him stop by, so check that out too.
This sounds a lot like a podcast.
It basically is.
Telling me it's a podcast.
Yeah, it's a very scrappy podcast right now.
Yeah.
Scrappy audio series.
Love it.
But we want to let you get back to work, Sean. There's a lot. The community's counting on you. There's a lot of work you need to go do, and we don't want to keep you from that.
They're waiting on all the leaks.
Oh yeah.
Let me go back
to my burner account. Let me just quickly do that.
Can I have a job? Well, okay.
Your burner account, Sean Halo.
Before we go, John,
Can you imagine? It'd be so dumb. Beans are on.
John, this may become a new tradition from last time because chat's asking for it again. They'd like to know if you could please send us off with a dad joke.
Oh no. Okay. Let me see what I got.
Are you prepared?
Let me see what I got. Check my database.
He did a not a terrible joke Tuesday. He on a Friday no less. We ended the last one with a Unicheck special.
He has them all scheduled out.
So you write them down? You can't just get them off the dome? Here's one.
Do you have?
Oh, I always have some, but I want to make sure.
Oh, it's a good one. Do you workshop?
He also did
workshop some with people. Oh my god!
Bad jokes I find. I'm like, here you go. Here's one.
But are they novel jokes? Like you're creating them yourself? Or
It's a mix. I'll find them. People send them to me. I'll come up with them.
Okay.
Yeah, but you don't want to read. You don't want to say one now that would cannibalize a future tweet you've already.
No, I don't mind future ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sean said he has one though. I think we should give Sean a go.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll have a guest closer. It's celebrity shot.
Terrible joke Friday.
Yeah.
Sean Barron.
How did ducks learn to fly?
I have no idea.
They just wing it.
Nice.
Nice.
What do you say, John? Was that how would you score?
Bad. Yes.
I'll give that an 8. I was hoping.
No, I think it's a good 6. It's a 6.
It's like
I like it. But
Thank you. Yeah.
the thing with me is there was no like relation to the duck specifically. Why the duck over any other bird?
Like
The relative specificity of duck.
He really does workshop these.
He does. Yeah. I guess like
Not-
there's some sort of absurdity. Like it's like absurd, right? Plus ducks are verified the second silliest bird.
dude,
The first silliest bird doesn't fly. It's a penguin. Penguin.
What?
flamingos Hey,
No, he was getting to that part when I was already saying flamingo. I know
okay.
flamingos fly. I'm saying silly
This
birds. Flamingos.
this is a
silly
fact.
too.
The first silliest bird is a penguin, and it can't fly. So I can't say how the penguins learn how to fly because they do. But ducks are the second silliest birds,
Interesting.
and they can fly.
So it's like long gone now, but somebody said you should have said they take a quack at it.
Oh,
That's a good one too.
So I don't know who said it, but because it's like 38 messages
That's a
gone
good
now. But that was a good punchline.
Yeah, I love it.
I feel bad for the people just now joining, expecting to hear like juicy cross quarter. We're talking about ducks.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anyways, we're way over time now.
You put
So
duck ears in the game.
duck ears.
Wait, that's not the
ears.
thing.
Come on, dude. That's why you're not on the 3D art team.
Duck bill.
No, they're not confirmed.
All right,
I'm not confirmed.
I'm calling this.
Yeah.
I do want to say thank you to everybody who hung out and chat with us today. Appreciate your support. Hopefully you're as excited as we are about season 4. I think career rank. Well, I know career rank's going to be great, and cannot wait to play Infection with everybody. Plus the other new content, of course, we'll be looking forward to there. And just remember, we're going to keep working on improving the customization story. We've got your feedback. And we're also going after these technical and quality concerns as well. Please remember to keep filing those tickets for us. They're super, super valuable. But mostly just thank you. We appreciate you hanging out with us, sticking by us. And we're in this journey together. And I'm really happy and proud of the progress the team's making. And we're far from done. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.